Guests who come to your home will come in all different shapes, sizes, ages, and abilities, and you want to make sure everyone is comfortable and feels good in your home. And a lot of the times when we think about making modifications to our home or making it more accessible for others, we think about things like baby proofing or adding step stools for little kids. But as we age and as our family members age, we may have more and more friends and family that are using assistive walking devices and mobility aids, and you want to make sure that you can accommodate them and anything they may bring with them in your home comfortably. And so that's what this video is all about. We're going to talk about how to make your home more accessible for guests. We're going to talk about 3 easy ways to do this and the one thing that you should never do. In this video, we're going to talk about short-term guests in your home. But if you would like me to talk about overnight guests or possibly long-term or permanent home modifications, I'm happy to do so. Just leave me a comment down below. And I do want to thank the viewer who left a comment in my recent video that suggested this topic. I think it's a fantastic idea. My mother actually worked in this field for many, many years. And so I've heard a lot growing up about independent living and home modifications, and we've had a lot of experience with it in our family, and so I'm very happy to share what I have learned and what I've learned through her in this video. Number 1 is to clear the way. You want to make sure that you have a clear path from your front entryway all the way into your entertaining area. So whether that's your living room where you're going to have people seated, or a dining room, wherever it is that you want to host your guests, make sure that the path that goes from your front door to that area is clear and wide. You also want to make sure that the path to the bathroom is clear and wide as well. Now, when I say clear, I don't just mean pick up socks, pick up toys, things that people can trip on and tidy up. I mean, make sure that you have a clear, wide path that goes from your feet all the way up to your shoulders. So things like coat racks that may have bulky coats on them that are kind of hanging out into the hallway, or you may have an artificial tree that you love. It's really narrow at the base, but then it bushes out really wide up at shoulder length. And while you may be accustomed to kind of scooting around it, consider someone that may be hunched over in a walker or maybe seated in a wheelchair. Those branches may be in their face. So consider things like that when you are creating a clear, wide walkway for your guests. The next thing that you want to do is to secure your area rugs. You want to make sure that nothing is slipping or sliding, so use a rug mat, rug pads, rug tape, whatever you need to do to make sure that those things are not budging. You also want to make sure that you don't have any curled edges on your rugs that people could trip over, or they could get a cane or a walker or a crutch stuck on. Once you have your area rugs secured, consider removing any unnecessary rugs or mats from your home. So this may be your bathroom mats, any inside door mats. Lots of us have a front door mat that's on the outside, but sometimes we also have one that's on the inside of the door as well. If you can remove that and are okay with removing that, I would say go ahead and remove it. You do not want to create any uneven footing, especially the moment someone walks in the door. So when I'm saying uneven footing, I'm saying you don't want to have someone, let's say, that has a walker and one foot of the walker is up on the mat and one foot is down on the tile, and it creates this uneven step for them. You want to make sure everything is easy and smooth. Also consider that someone that may be using an assistive walking device may not be lifting their feet up as high as maybe you or I. So they may be at more of a shuffle. You see this a lot with your older family members, maybe your parents or your grandparents. They kind of shuffle along more than kind of step, step, step. That shuffle is what creates the possibility for tripping. over the edge of a rug or the edge of a mat. So while it may seem like a very small difference to you, a 1/4 inch of pile can really cause someone to fall. So you want to make sure that you have the most even flooring possible. And if you can remove some of your indoor mats to do that, that's great. I'm not saying remove your living room area rug or remove your bedroom area rug, but all those little mats, sometimes the kitchen runners, people can trip on as well. If you can remove them just for the hosting period, go ahead and do it, and then you can always put it back later. The other thing that you'll want to do while you are clearing your paths is to go ahead and open doors that are on that path. So let's say you have a hallway door that leads into your living room. Make sure that the door is open. Your guest bathroom, make sure that the door is open. Make sure that any of your guests are able to move seamlessly through without having to reach and grab and pull open a door to get by to continue on that path. If you can have them open, leave them open. The third thing that you can do to make your home more accessible for guests is to lower your hand towels. So in your guest bathroom, go ahead and place your hand towels right down on the countertop. Do not leave them up on the towel rings or on the towel bars where some people may not be able to reach them. Now, if you want to have an additional one there, that's fine, but I would highly, highly recommend placing one at that countertop level. The other thing that you'll want to do in the bathroom is to corral your hand soap, your lotion, your hand sanitizer, any of the little bathroom toiletries that you want your guests to be able to use. Put them on a tray that can be slid forward and back across the counter. This is going to make it more accessible for everyone. If they don't have to reach all the way to the back of the sink, especially if your sinks are deep, you know, most people usually put the soap to the back of the sink near the handles. But if you can make those items more accessible just by putting them on a tray, do it. Then they can easily slide it towards them, use the things they want to use, slide it back, and it makes it just easy for everyone involved. Now, the one thing that you never want to do is to remove your guest's assistive walking device or mobility device away from them where they can't reach it. That effectively takes away their independence, and you don't want to do that. As tempting as it may be to say, hey, let me put your cane in the corner, or let me move the walker out of the way because it may be taking up a lot of room, don't do it. That device needs to be within reach for them. This is very important. Frankly, you really shouldn't be touching it at all. Consider it an extension of their body. Unless you have been granted permission, you really shouldn't be touching anyone's assistive device, really ever. So just know that that's like a part of their personal bubble, a part of their personal space. Now, beforehand, if you know someone is coming, you may need to do something like remove a chair from your living room or your seating area. So let's say you have a sofa and a love seat and 2 accent chairs. You may go ahead and know that someone is coming in with a walker and they need to place that walker next to them, next to their chair. You're going to want to make sure that there's space to be able to do that, so that not only them, but any other guests that are in your home can still move about freely. And so that may mean removing a piece of furniture here or there to kind of make a little bit more space and make your home more accessible for everyone. And before I end this video, let me just add, when in doubt, just ask. It's far better to ask than to assume and get it wrong. So when I say this, I'm thinking about things like, not everyone that uses a wheelchair needs a wheelchair all the time. Don't assume that because you have seen someone use an assistive walking device that they need it all the time. They may only use it for long distances. So things like going through the airport from terminal to terminal, on a trip to the mall or a trip to the park, Someone may use a wheelchair, but that same person could just as easily step out of a car, walk up to your front door, totally unassisted, and be perfectly fine. So don't assume that because you may have seen someone use a wheelchair or another assistive walking device once, that they need it all the time. And the best way to know for sure is to simply ask them. Another consideration that you may need to make is if you are hosting a meal, you may want everyone, let's say it's Thanksgiving, and you want everyone to pile around the table, eat family style. The question may be, is your guest going to want to pull up to the dining table in their wheelchair, or do they want to transfer into one of your dining chairs? Do you have space for that? Things like that. If you're not sure, ask ahead of time. It's only awkward if you make it awkward, right? So you're not going to do something like scream from across the room, across the entire party and asking this person, but you're also not going to like whisper it into their ear like it's a secret. You know, just ask them clearly, directly, hey, Aunt May, I'm about to set up the table. Do you want to sit in the dining chair, or are you more comfortable in your wheelchair? Very simple question. And they're going to tell you, hey, no, I prefer to stay in my chair. No, I'd love to sit in the dining chair, or any chair you want to put me in is fine. Someone may say something like that. So just go ahead and ask. It's not a taboo thing. It's not as if someone who is using an assistive device is not aware that they are using one. So it's easier to ask than to assume and, you know, someone be offended or you end up being embarrassed or something like that. That's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to visit me at dianedecor.com. I post all about home entertaining and home decorating on a budget over there. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.